Hey, how you doing? This is Tony from 6-String Chord, and today I'm going to show you Separate Ways by Journey. Really fun song to play. The tabs to this song are in the 6-String Corner tab library down below. Sign up for free and you got that song plus a whole bunch of others that are in that library. So go ahead and grab it. Alright, let's get on with how to play the song. Most of the rhythm is this. And really all we're doing is just pressing down on this E note on the A string, which is on the 7th fret on the A, and then the low E string. And then there's some of this you're going to get. It's like you're touching just the top of the strings 2, 3, and 4 here on the 5th fret. Almost like you would do it harmonic, like here. Sometimes you get harmonics, sometimes you don't. It's kind of, he's feeling it out. Sometimes you'll hear it, sometimes you won't. I've seen it live where there's more harmonics, sometimes it's not. But you're after this. So now when we get to I guess this would be like the pre-chorus. A lot of these are just power chords. You got A, B, C to D, and you go. Now for here, I don't know if he plays this, but I'm hearing like an A minor or an A minor 7. Sounds kind of cool right in there. All right, and then B, C. Power chords back to D again, back to that A, or if you want to hit that minor 7, and then back to B to C, and then D back to A. Now the chorus, you're going to play full out bar chords, and it's going to be E minor, D major, and C major. Or play it like this. I like doing it with my little finger. Maybe you might want to use your ring finger. Alright, A power chord, then to D power chord, and then this is a E flat over B. So it kind of looks like the top of this B here. But you're not really going to play all that. You're just going to play like these three that my fingers are on. This is on an E flat. This is on the B note, which is 9th fret, and this is on the 8th fret, right here on the G string. Alright, and then come back again. Right? Now, sometimes you'll hear it, like sometimes that middle finger is going to go up and down. It's like that E sus back to an E. I've seen it live too. It's kind of almost arbitrary in how that's played. The way I like to do it is I just sort of mimic the cadence of the vocal. Like that. And then the D, and then to C. Now you could do one of a couple things here. You can just go, right? Just let those ring out. Although he has played it where it would be he's doing stuff like that with his right. I've seen him live, and he's not just doing this. He's doing something rhythmic. What I'm doing is I'm just following the cadence of the vocal, so you can kind of feel that one out. But if you don't want to do any of that, just E minor, D, C, and then A power chord, D, E flat over B, right back to the E minor. Now for the solo. Solo's in E minor. So we're in this part of the scale. So we're right here on the 16th fret on the G, 17th fret on the B, and then over on the high E string we're going to be using the 14 and 15. And then there's going to be a bend. So you're bending that 15th fret a whole step and then coming back to 17 on the B, and then back to these two notes here, and then you're going to play. So it's a hammer on pull off from what is that? That's 1917, and then you slide that pointer finger down to 15 on that same string, and then back to 17 on the high E string. and then back here to 15, and then I do this a little differently, but it's the same note. You don't have to do it this way. I'll show you both ways. So all I'm playing here is, so 14, 15 on the E, 17 on the B, to 13 on the B, 14 on the G, 16 on the D string. And then you start over. Now the other way you can do it, it might be easier if you do it this way too, is instead of this note, you play that same C right here, which is the 17 on the G. They're both fine. I think that's how he does it. And the other notes are pretty much the same. Your fingering will be a little bit different, but you'll accomplish the same thing. Okay, at the end of that solo, here's where it gets a little funky. It's pretty fast. This is my best interpretation of it. So if you got a better one, leave a comment, let me know. But here's what I come up with. You're gonna play that lick again, that melody repeats, and then you're gonna come to, all right, and you're gonna pause ever so briefly on the E note, which would be right here on the 17th fret on the B, or you can go, you can also do it here on the 12th fret if you're more comfortable on the E. Same thing, it's the same note. And then it's going to be this. We're going to be going 14, 15, and 17. Like this. Really fast though. And then you come up here and you're going to play these notes. So you're at 19, 17, 15 on the E and the B. Okay, we're going to play them right here. And when you get it up to this 19th fret here on the high E, he double picks it a little bit, right? We're just kind of going down that scale note right here. I do that twice. That's 19 on the B and 15 on the high E. And then there's this next part, which is this. So what I'm playing here, and honestly too, if you can kind of pay attention to the chord change just goes to the A right at this part. Right? It's right here. So that's where that comes in. So if you can kind of time it, if it's possible you can do it. Do this little bend, which is 17 on the G, and then, right, and that's the B string, that's 15 and 17. There's a little pull off right there, 17 to 15. And then you do another quick bend, but we're not going to finish it. You're just going to bend again to that 15 on the B. And then what you're going to do from there is you're going to drop down. I'm just hearing a pentatonic line in here. So that's what I'm hearing. It's happening so freaking fast. I'm playing from here, and I'm using these notes right here. I'm using 17 and 14 on the G, 17 and 14 on the D, and just going back and forth. And then once I get back to this note right here, this is the D on the A string, which is way up here, the 17 on A, you do a whole step, and you're going to really pull that thing out there and get that big bend there where you're bending to the E note. And then you might come back a little bit on it, and then you come back into the E power chords. And then it goes to these notes right here. It sounds like it's part of a G, so I'm playing on the 3rd fret on the E and the B string, and then you're going to go to the C chord, C power chord, and then down to the A. You can play it right here, and then you're going to run up and you're going to bend that note again. Now that one's bent on the 14th fret on the A string. Give it a good pull. Back down to that E. And then you go to the D. And right in there, you're going to get this. I'm just bending at the D note right here, which is 15th fret on the B string. And I'm just going up. And then back. Get some good vibrato in there. And back to the C. And then that's the B power chord, and then we're going right back into the chorus. Now the solo that's at the end is very, very, very similar. In fact, it's almost identical to what you did earlier. We're just not going to play the fast part. You do a couple little things a little different. So this is all repeating. All right, now the second time around, you're going to do this. All you're doing there is you're going to that same note right here, this E note, 17th fret on the high B, but you're going to bend. And you come back and do it again. And then we're going to resume like we normally would. Right? And then here's your end. That's the part that's here. And that's just 14 to 15 on the high E. And that finishes your solo part. Hey, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below, let me know what you think. And we'll catch you on the next one, all right? Rock on.